Now, if you're a working mom or maybe a busy woman and you still want to look and feel put together, we've got just what you need from a mom just like you. Christina Kamberis came up with 2-minute makeup tips for the woman on the go. So the first question, before you leave the house, what is the first thing you do?
For me, it's concealer. I feel like concealer is just a very quick way to kind of give you a bright, awake look, and it doesn't take very much time at all. So I can show you that today.
Okay, awesome. And you actually brought Jamie here.
Yes.
So we're actually going to talk about how we know if it's the right concealer and if we're putting it in the right place.
Correct. Okay, so a couple mistakes I think that people make is using one concealer, and I think it's really important to remember that you have 2 concealers, one for your face and one for your eyes, because you're going to want to brighten that area up. So I'm going to take a concealer here that's a little bit lighter than the skin tone, than Jamie's skin tone, and you always want to use your ring finger to apply, especially to the eye area, because it's going to apply the least amount of pressure, because we don't want to be pulling and tugging on that area of the skin, which is, you know, thinner anyways, so it's nice and gentle. But just by applying that light concealer, you can see how it will kind of brighten Jamie up. And then I also will always go over that, okay, so close for me, all over the lid area. And that's just a very quick way for a busy woman to give yourself kind of a perked up, awake look before you head out the door.
And it looks like we're looking at your before and afters right now, and concealer can make such a difference, right?
Concealer makes such a big difference. And I think the thing is people get scared because they think concealer is going to take a lot of time, and it just doesn't need to take very much time at all. So you want to make sure, like I said, and use a light color for brightening the eye area, and then one that matches more of your skin tone for covering any kind of blemish or anything like that that's popped up.
And even when we're tight on her on that tight shot, you can actually see a huge difference between one eye and the other.
Definitely, it makes such a big difference. And then an important just finishing step is to remember to always set your concealer. So I'm just setting it here with a nice light translucent setting powder.
Okay, beautiful. Now let's talk about why we should actually contour, because a lot of people get very intimidated by this.
Contour is kind of a buzzword, and it's very tricky. People get very intimidated by it, but I mean, let's be honest, none of us are doing any kind of crazy contour. We are just doing kind of everyday contour that's just going to allow us to just kind of tap some of this off, frame the face, and just add some more warmth into the face after you've applied your foundation. So depending on your face shape, you might do this a little bit differently, but I'm going to start just right here up at Jamie's hairline with a bronzer, and just start to bring some warmth back into her face after she's applied her foundation. So you start right back up here at the hairline.
Okay.
And then I'm going to go right here, so if you turn this way, and use the cartilage of your ear is a great guide, so you can kind of carve out that cheekbone area, and then you always want to blend up versus blending down, because really what contouring is doing is it's creating a shadow. So we're creating a shadow that's going to allow her cheekbones to kind of pop, and you don't want the shadow to be in the wrong area. So you always blend up and then bring it down here, right here on her jawline.
Okay, well those are tips that everybody needs. Now,
definitely.
We have one more, because you said, hey, we need brows before we leave the house. This is so important.
Brows are very, very important, and again, something that people get intimidated by. I think that everyone should be using a brow gel. I think it's a really quick, easy way to just fill in sparse areas of your brow. This happens to be a brow gel that's tinted, and so it will just allow us to fill in some of the sparse areas that Jamie has, and then the gel portion of it will really comb down all of her brow hairs and keep them nice and kind of in place and intact throughout the day.
So I'm like you, I need a gel, or I need some powder, I need something just a little bit extra. And thank you so much for showing us that, because it's almost like you could push some up or
right, you can kind of comb them exactly where you want them, so that, you know, everything's not kind of, you know, all over the place.
All over the place.
That's right.
Well, Christina, thank you so much, and thanks for coming out today.